I spent my career as a technology optimist. I was lucky enough to be there for the entire ride of personal computers, data networking, enterprise software, the internet, Netscape, Amazon, Google. I was lucky enough to be a mentor to Mark Zuckerberg in the early days of Facebook. The Silicon Valley that I joined in 1982, and the one that I spent most of my career in, was one that was in the business of empowering the people who used its products. The culture of Silicon Valley changed in the early years of the millennium, and it went from being this very positive, empowering thing to, by roughly 2012 or 2013, to being a place where the most successful companies were based on business models that started by violating the law. That would be Airbnb, Uber, and Lyft. Or creating addiction, that would be Juul. Or exploiting the ignorance of a community, that would be Spotify. And I realized at that point, I had passed my sell-by date. So I retired. And immediately, at the end of 2015, when I retired, a month later, I saw something going on at Facebook that disturbed me. And over the course of the spring of 2016, I saw examples related to the Democratic primary, civil rights, and then Brexit, where I realized that the business model and algorithms of Facebook could be used not just for good and not just for the benefit of helping advertisers find their customers at a lower cost and consumers find things they were interested in at a lower cost. They could also be used to undermine democracy and to undermine civil rights. And it took me 4 months before I could find anybody who would talk to me about this issue. I was asked to write an opinion piece for the technology blog Recode. And while I was drafting it, the news came out that the Russians were actively attempting to interfere in the US general election. And my wife Ann, who's here with us today, encouraged me to send my draft opinion piece to Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg, which I did 9 days before the US presidential election in 2016. And I was warning my friends of this flaw in the business model and the algorithms, which I viewed as systemic. And I viewed it as a situation where they were the victim and unintentionally they were undermining civil rights and democracy. The problem is that the culture of business in America, not just the culture of Silicon Valley, but all business in America, no longer treats consumers as a real customer worthy of protection. We're very much in a world where there are very few rules, where the role that government played in capitalism of setting rules and then enforcing them fairly for everyone has been eroded steadily over 40 years to the point where it's a free-for-all, which favors the powerful at the expense of everyone else. I spent 3 months begging Facebook to do the right thing. They retreated behind one phrase: Roger, we're a platform, not a media company. We are not responsible for the actions of third parties. And I'm saying, guys, your business is based on trust. Once you lose it, you will never regain it. I'm begging you, please get this right. They were not interested. It's possible, perhaps likely, that I was the wrong messenger. It's possible that I was giving them the wrong message. For whatever reason, I failed. And I concluded that with the 2018 midterm elections fast approaching and 2020 beyond it, that I needed to share with the US government and the public at large what I understood about the business model and culture of Facebook. So I became an activist. It is not a role that I am born to. And I have found it to be an extreme challenge. When I began, I found an ally, a young man named Tristan Harris, who had been the design ethicist at Google. He was an expert in persuasive technology. He helped me to understand the mechanisms of the business model of Facebook in a way that I had not appreciated before. That These are media companies. They're competing against television, newspapers, magazines, radio, video games, Netflix, sports. They need our attention. They get it initially by appealing to the weakest elements of human psychology, the things we cannot evade no matter how hard we try. As human beings, we have an unstoppable need for rewards. We need social validation. They send us notifications. 42 people liked your post. Yay! Please join my network on LinkedIn. Or you've been tagged in a photograph. Would you like to tag some other people? Now with the LinkedIn and the tagging, they trigger another inescapable human need. The need for social reciprocity. Somebody's done something nice for us. I got to do something nice back. They begin a cycle. And they do it on a device that is on your body. And the next thing you know, every free moment you're checking your phone. You say to yourself, well, what's the harm in that? It's just a habit. The problem is this kind of habit can soon become an addiction.